If you've got a relative in a hospital, you go and visit them and you know whether they're being treated well, and if they're not, you say, excuse me, can this happen? But when you've got a relative or a friend or a neighbour in custody, it's such a closed door environment, you can't go in and say, is this okay? And that's what our independent custody visitors actually do. They're going in, they're the eyes and ears to say, is this okay? Does this feel right to me?
When we arrive at custody on an unannounced visit, and these can be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we ring the entry bell and announce that we're going to carry out a custody visit. We then introduce ourselves to the sergeant at the bridge, at the custody desk, and we go through some details with him in respect of how many people he's got in. We then visit each cell, and we introduce ourselves to the detained person by explaining to them that we are trained volunteers from the local community. We're not to do with the police. We don't need to know their name. We don't need to know the reason for their detention today. And then we go through questions that relate to their welfare, that they're being properly treated, and the conditions in which they're being kept are satisfactory. It's a case of kind of building a relationship with that person to say, look, I'm a friend, I'm a member of the public, you know, I'm from the local community, I've been trained in doing this job, and I'm here for you.
I think we're there to help them through the process and to translate anything that they're not happy about, that perhaps they don't understand. It's all happened very quickly, and often they're upset and worried about what's going to happen next. So we try and reassure them and go through that they have been treated according to the regulations. But that's the kind of official bit. But I think we tend to make sure that they feel somebody has cared about what they are going through, and that we will pick up any points that they make to us as well. If they haven't been offered a shower, or if they haven't been offered any food, then we can pick that up with the sergeant, and you know, it's somebody that they can talk to that's got nothing to do with the reason that they're there. It's very different. You learn a lot about how a police custody suite works. I think people see television programmes like 24 Hours in Police Custody, and they think they know about it, but in fact that usually deals with how they're going to cope with the offence, whereas we see how they're treated in custody, and the two are completely separate. Custody has nothing to do with the investigation. They're there to look after the people, so we're there to support them in the way that they're looking after their detainees. So it's very worthwhile and very instructive.
But I think the most benefit that I've received is feeling that I'm putting something back into the community, but also giving reassurance that the police are delivering a good service.
Independent custody visiting is a statutory requirement for the Police and Crime Commissioner to deliver. And within Surrey, following national themes, we've improved female dignity massively, so that females have got access to sanitary protection, they've got access to a female detention officer to discuss any issues they may have. That's come on leaps and bounds in the last 2 years, and something I'm personally really, really proud of. The really important thing with independent custody visitors is they are the eyes and ears of the community, that they're looking from their own perspectives. We've got doctors, we've got nurses, we've got secretaries, we've got school teachers, we've got stay-at-home mums, we've got retired professionals, and they're reporting on the niggles. If something doesn't feel quite right, they'll be raising it with the custody sergeant, with the inspector, and saying, what about this? The care within the custody centres is phenomenal, and that is a continual feedback that I do get. But it's just there's always room for improvement and little tweaks that we can make. And that is what's ultimately essential. That's what you would do in an open door environment. So in the closed door environment, like a custody centre, that's really essential.